And welcome everybody to another edition of The Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash. I be your host, smAsho, aka Dan. And we are doing a different kind of a scenario today. And we're going to call various people. But first of all, we're going to talk all about how Orange Man bad, which is, I don't know if you can tell, if the color looks proper, but there is a distinct reason why I am completely decked out in orange, yes. Completely orange, head to toe, because reasons. Because Orange Man bad, and Orange Fish bad. If you haven't seen the YouTube videos about how bad the orange fish is, please head to youtube.com/smAsho. Click on playlists and make sure you consume our video. Like, don't eat it, but all right, now we are all set up here to play the video. Please watch the aquarium video about the orange fish, because orange fish bet, oh my gosh, is it not on the playlist yet? Just click on videos. It's not on the playlist yet, folks. It's a YouTube exclusive live stream, Orange Fish Bad.
40 years over many pieces of...
So completely ignore any advertisements that you may see. No, I'm just kidding. Buy the products, such as Univest Financials. See what's possible. Ad. And don't worry, you'll be able to see a different ad while you play the video.
So just taking a look at this fish over here.
We're going to see...
Here's part of a pleco, and the rest of him sticking in a pipe. He just spends his days in a pipe all the time.
Spends his days in a pipe.
What do we have over here? We have this white fish. I don't know what's wrong with her. Got a bit of an orange head going on. And then anybody else? We've got an orange plant.
Orange.
That looks kind of bad.
That plant's orange.
That plant is
folks.
Orange. I'm a little worried about that. And last but not least, we have orange fish. Orange fish bad.
Yep. Orange fish bad.
Stay the heck away from me, orange fish. Oh my God.
He's literally Hitler.
Orange fish.
That fish is literally Hitler, folks.
And what's wrong with this fish over here? I'll tell you what's wrong with this fish. He's made in China. 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 Jaws. She's made in America. Phelps made in China. Because he's bad. He's a bad fish.
Just kidding, folks. He's not really made in China. But, yeah, I just wanted to cite some factors there. And now, how about let's just call people on Skype, see if they answer or not. It's anybody's guess. So, let's see if Tom answers. I don't know if he's busy or not, but we're just gonna randomly video call Tom. And by the way, Tom is the owner of Switch to Linux, switchtolinux.com. And let's see if Tom answers. Tom does not answer. So, anyway, we're going to be taking one of these two solid-state hard drives and putting Linux on one of said hard drives. Whether it's the Crucial or the SanDisk is anybody's guess. I think it's going to be the SanDisk. Although Crucial stuff is nice. Check it out. It's good times. So anyway, one of the things that you can do to increase the security of your PC is to install something like Linux Mint. So switching to Linux is a way to get rid of the privacy concerns and security concerns associated with Windows, Apple, or any sort of stuff like that. So we're going to be creating a video soon here about what we've done to the PC that we're currently broadcasting from. In this case, it's a recorded video, but doing lots of live streams from the same PC. And we're going to be switching more and more functions to Linux Mint. So perhaps consider doing an install yourself. The reason we keep showing you physical drives is because if you want to run a dual boot, if you want to make it properly secure, what you want to do is have a separate physical drive. So if you have a computer that only has one physical hard drive, excuse me, buy a second physical hard drive and hook that up secondary onto the motherboard and boot from that drive and boot your computer out of Linux. Now, this is the way that I used to run my old PC, and I've recently gotten a new PC, so I have a different boot configuration than I had before, but I'm going to revert to my old boot configuration. So the old boot configuration was the computer would boot onto a Linux solid-state drive, and then I just kept my media on the physical hard drive, and that's the way you want to run things. Don't run programs from a physical hard drive, especially if you own solid-state hard drives. What's better about solid-state hard drives? Solid-state hard drives are better because they're like memory on your cell phone. They're flash memory. They're not a physical magnetic hard drive with cylinders and rotating parts and all this mechanical stuff and magnetic materials that eventually will wear out. It's nothing like that. These are completely different. Solid-state hard drives, vastly more durable and much, much faster than physical type of hard drives. So consider getting a solid-state hard drive of whatever kind. I'm not advertising a brand. I could care less. But so the PC that we're going to eventually have 2 solid-state hard drives and 2 physical hard drives on this particular PC, but it's not all set up yet because we just haven't had time to set up all the software the way that we want it. One of the solutions that we're going to install here is going to be Linux Mint, and the learning curve is pretty easy from what I hear for people that know how to use PCs. Now, I have a bit of experience using various different versions of Ubuntu, which is another open source free software, just like Linux Mint. And I've run most of the functions on my PC. This stuff is pretty intuitive. It works very well. It's a completely secure, very, very secure software. And it's going to have your privacy in mind, assuming you don't choose to give up aspects of your privacy. And we won't get any more in depth into that, but Ubuntu is another version. And if you have an old PC, from what Tom tells me, and I believe him, because that guy is legit. And again, we're talking about Tom from Switched to Linux. Peppermint. If you've got an old PC that's in your closet, that's been sitting there for years, decades perhaps, try installing maybe the 32-bit version of Peppermint, depending on how old your PC is, and maybe resurrect an old PC, because if you should get a thumb drive and put Peppermint and Ubuntu and Linux Mint on that drive, as well as other programs that work with Linux, because this way you could resurrect practically any broken down PC that you ever encounter. How many people do you know that have closets full of broken down PCs that are doing nothing? They're worth a lot of money, and they're able to do a lot of things that they aren't doing. So consider resurrecting an old PC. I think it's a way to bust entropy. And speaking of entropy, go check out Entropy Busters on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/entropybusters. And yeah, there's a bunch of content over there, and certain content that we put up on the YouTube channel and stuff appears in that spot. Also, again, folks, don't forget to check out Switch to Linux. I mean, seriously, this guy's videos are super legit. For instance, the city of Munich in Bavaria, Germany. In Bavaria, Germany, has switched
for this wireless
to
battery
Linux
bank.
because, well, it's free and open source. For largely budgetary concerns, they've switched to Linux. So, another great video about all kinds of creepy tech stuff, as Tom is quite aware of the relevant information regarding your computers and OSs and so on. So please check out the page, Switched to Linux, and we're going to show you a tidbit of the video if the ad ever gets done playing. And here we go. It's in 3, 2, 1. And I guess we're just going to see the ad again because reasons. What in the heck? Hey YouTube, learn to code. Alright, so here we have one of the latest Switch to Linux videos. And here's a section about Bavaria. The title story of the latest video.
Open source again. So in reading through this, what we're seeing here is kind of a power play between a few different warring parties, and the party that has just won some of the leading positions.
Anyway, the city of Munich has switched back to open source, and that's probably a good thing for Munich. Let's hope it is. I think it probably is. Tom seems to agree. So check out the latest videos there from Switch to Linux on various different social medias. All right, and I apologize if I got sidetracked there a little bit. Let's talk about the conception of the current content that you're viewing. The Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash, Episode 9. Now, the Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash is a twice-a-week hourly show conceived by not me, but by Diamond, aka David Moriello from Oppenheimer Ranch Project. So check out the website. I'll give it a quick scroll. And one night I was called on Skype, and I was actually just looking at my phone when Diamond gave me a ring, and forces beyond his control informed him to give me a ring. And I'll leave that up to his explanation as to figuring out what that means, because I know, but you probably don't. And I won't be letting you know, not at this time, because it looks like we've got to build some suspense. And let's talk about some other things. Things such as Jerusalem artichokes. So, as we stated, we were going to put out some videos about certain things being grown, and one of those things would be the Jerusalem artichokes. So follow us on Instagram to see things like, and there you have an image of some Jerusalem artichokes, an image that I took a crazy amount of time to find for some reason. It's all on Instagram.com/smAshomash. Some good cloud images where the back edge of the clouds evaporating and the front edge is building, as well as other things like azaleas. So check us out over there. While I'm not a huge Facebook fan, and let's just say some of the software doesn't work quite right, it does allow us to feature orange fish who are bad
Orange fish bad. Orange fish bad.
Orange fish bad. Orange man bad. Which is why, well, it's not why, but it's an essay on the wearing of the orange. And let's do a news crawl just to see what we find here on USA Today. Let's see their top headline, which is where coronavirus isn't. What's kept cases officially at 0 in these 200 counties? Let's see what's going on with that. In just 4 months, the deadly virus has infiltrated nearly every state. Since cats and dogs can get the virus, it's very spooky and scary, even though it's very, very unlikely to kill you, statistically speaking. Because if you're listening to my voice, you're probably coherent enough that anyway. But a scattering of remote counties continue without a single reported case, according to a USA Today analysis. So take that with a truckload of salt. As of May 15th, 231 of 3143 counties have reported no cases. Georgia started the month with 2 0-case counties. Now there are none. Oh my God. From 2 to 0. From 2 to 0 in only 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Stop the presses. Iowa went from 8 counties with no cases to only 4. Their number of caseless counties was reduced by half. Better call Greta Thunberg to cash in on this one. I mean, not cash in. Ante up. No, wait. No, not ante up or cash in. How about if she just weigh in? By the way, if she's not 18 yet, it's still considered child abuse. Please leave a comment if you think Greta Thunberg can see carbon dioxide and viruses with the naked eye. And don't say naked, she's not 18 yet. The long stretch without coronavirus cases in some counties likely reflects an undercount from limited testing. So there's a lot of people out there, probably in those counties, folks, who aren't getting tested because they have no symptoms. So, again, there's probably a lot of people, period, who aren't getting tested because they don't have any symptoms. And for months, lots of people didn't get tested, nor should they get tested because they don't have any symptoms, because it would be completely insane to just do things because you're a human, as opposed to like if you're sick. See, this is the way that works. So like if you're a healthcare practitioner, or you work in a laboratory environment, in a clean room or something like that, right? There's reason to wear personal protective equipment. If it's in a healthcare setting, it's to protect the patients from getting infected by you and so on, which is why we wear surgical masks in surgical bays when we're in surgical bays. Unfortunately, I'm not one of the we who are in the surgical bays, but some people are, or in a nursing home or whatever, assisted living facilities. You're dealing with patients because you're a nurse or you're a med tech or something like that. You've got to wear PPE. But see, if you're going into a grocery store when you aren't sick and you're required to wear a mask, I think you can see where the line in the sand never ends. Anyway, back to the USA Today article. Again, you really can't just require healthy people to do things because of the possibility that they might be sick. There's a possibility they could be sick. You can't just lock down, not in America, not in the U.S. So I don't know what to tell you about that, but it's an unenforceable thing. So when you're, In other words, when your police refuse to enforce laws that are unconstitutional, you may want to look at the fact that they swear an oath in order to do their job that requires them to uphold the U.S. Constitution as well as to whatever local laws that they're sworn to uphold. So if it's like a sheriff, the sheriff's deputy or the sheriff is required to uphold the laws of your county. But they're also required to uphold the laws of the Constitution. Just like a judge or a legislator, they all swear in oaths. So people that receive a government paycheck are supposed to be upholding the Constitution. So I won't go farther in depth into that, but as the people on Facebook are more than aware, there is an effort, and while it doesn't have a lot of following yet, it's picking up some traction, having been only a week old, to make certain adjustments regarding the government. And I mean the government of Pennsylvania. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about that, but here's an article on Zero Hedge that you may be interested in, which sort of ties into COVIDiocy. It's Zero Hedge, zerohedge.com, the libertarian financial website, which has been banned for Twitter for citing a little bit too many true facts. If you weren't aware of the national debt has recently exceeded $25 trillion. And if you're not somebody who's tuned into Peter Schiff and other Austrian economists, I believe this is sort of the way of the future. And believe it or not, I actually do have some answers as to what the problem is with healthcare and how to fix it. And they don't refute the principles of Austrian economics, or you could say supply chain economics. And the way it works is the government spends less money, and hence there's less waste, fraud, and abuse by incompetent allocations of resources. I won't say anything else about that, except that inflation is a tax on everybody. So I don't know what this image is, but the national debt has recently exceeded $25 trillion, and here's the running clock, and we're up to 25.25 trillion. So we're measuring U.S. debt in trillions now, and the protracted liabilities are in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. And so there's an oddity to the market on currency. When currency gets created, everybody holding dollars pays a tax, because the more dollars there are in circulation, the less your dollars are worth. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in for the latest episode of The Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash, episode 9. And let's close things out with a couple more segments here. First, let's talk about the smAsho forum. If you haven't been to smashomash.com/forum yet, check it out. We've got cosmology forums, Earth and geophysics, general science, the sun, new users, and the free-for-all. And wow, we've seen a recent spike in users here. Cheers. Thanks everybody for setting up logins. We can't keep track of everything, but we do read everything and we get through it eventually. Please leave us a comment if there's some new stuff that we haven't seen yet. We are going to focus today on the coronavirus section, as we're trying to abolish some COVIDiocy in our neighborhood and galaxy. So please check that out. It's over 30 pages long. The first page was all the way back on January 23rd, 2020. So perhaps have yourself a read. It establishes a massive timeline, over 30 pages of information from January 23rd until today, updated nearly every day until right now. Let's close things out by looking at the latest images of the local yellow dwarf. And how about a nice colorized magnetogram? And we see some sunspots rising here. So that's what we're looking at. There are the magnetic fields. Looks like a bit of a sunspot, maybe not as big as we expected. Another one down there. Let's check out the intensity gram also here. There we go. I don't see any dark spots up there, but that's probably a sunspot, folks. Down here, might not be a sunspot, actually. It was one earlier. I saw a dark spot earlier this morning. Let's bring up a moving picture. And here's a 48-hour image. Series of images, really. And that's 2 per minute for the past 48 hours from the SDO. Looking at the south solar polar fields, as well as a sunspot that never quite got named, it looks like, down there in the southeast. Here's likely sunspot 2764 rising in the northeast. And that certainly looks like the real deal. This other one has moved into, this one down here has moved into the Earth facing quiet effect sort of a mode. You can see it popping up there. There are the timestamps. And we'll show you a full disk video in a minute too. Here's the close-up of most likely sunspot 2764. Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of The Diamond Anvil, Too Hard to Smash. And we'll be coming at you with more content soon. Here's the full disc, 48 hours video from the SDO.